beautiful people.
Hello, hello. So hello again.
Sorry.
So basically, I had a few questions for you guys.
All right.
First and foremost, well, I guess everyone say your names. Who you are?
I am Mike Lovell and I play Jay Hogarth.
Woo! I'm Shane Kibble and I played Spinner.
I'm Melissa McIntyre. I play Ashley Kerwin.
I'm Sarah Marable Shower, and who did I play? What did you all forgot for a second?
Well, yes, you guys are all my favorites. I love every Degrassi character. They're so complicated and some are problematic, more problematic than others. But at the end of the day, we love them all. We love them all. Do you guys have any favorite characters in particular?
Spinner.
I was somewhere in between Craig and Jay. Yeah.
Can I speak my own? I won't. No, I think probably Paige. She had such a really great character development. She turned into this beautiful, wonderful, strong woman from somebody who was a little spicier than others at the beginning, but I found that she was just really grounded, really cool.
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, I'm partial to JT. I think there's no lie to that. Ryan was, my best friend on set, and he left us too soon. So I'd have to say that.
Rest in peace,
Rest in
JT.
peace.
We miss you, JT. And how was that when you guys found out that JT was passing on? How did you guys feel? Was that such a complete shock?
Yeah, I mean, when we did the table read of the script, none of us knew. So, a lot of us would try to flip to the back of the script just to see what was going to happen, and it was a really shocking and sad moment in the room because, not only did it mean this character, that this beloved character was leaving, but it was also our friend wasn't going to be on set every day. It was a sad moment for sure.
And it was also most of the scripts, if not all of them up to that point, the ending would have something to do with, everything that was playing out throughout the episode. And this one was a random act of violence that happened at the end that no one could have seen coming. And that's when I remember when they were explaining to us how they came to that decision. One of those things was, sometimes in life these tragedies come out of nowhere. And it was very shocking to all of us. I still remember the reaction that week.
And it was a time also that there was some random acts of violence happening in Toronto, so it was a really important story to tell of just these senseless things that were happening. So.
Yeah, that shook me to my core. There's been so many tragic deaths on Degrassi. I think JT's death takes the cake, I think a lot of fans, they still to this day, they're I still haven't recovered, basically. Because we just love JT so much. We just love him. Well, do you guys have a favorite episode? What would you have to say, you know what, this might be my favorite of all time, Degrassi episode?
The bracelet episode?
Oh! Ravine?
But not for the reasons you are thinking.
What reasons are we thinking?
Let me tell you. Because I feel like that was, for my character's journey, I feel like that was the first kind of moment that you see the humanity inside of Jay. The first moment where you see a boundary of his being tested, and he kind of, him and Emma, and so you kind of start to notice, hey, there's more going on with this guy. He does have a line that can't be crossed, and you start to see that humanity crack and shine through. So yeah, I like that.
Was that also the first episode where Jay went without a hat at one point and we realized that all of his hard-ass power was contained underneath that hat?
Is that what it is? Was the hat? Was the hat?
I think
bad?
as soon as
it was a bad hat.
It was an evil hat. It was
an evil hat.
I think with Spinner, my favorite episodes that I did, there were certain moments from a handful of episodes Paige's rape trial, the way it started out was a sequence of driving through the city of Toronto because I just bought a car with my hard-earned money. And I was the first person on set that was filmed driving for real, not you being pushed in the car because you didn't have your license yet.
Didn't have my license. Couldn't drive that souped up Honda Civic.
Yeah. So that was a huge rush for me. I also really liked. I always wanted to know what it felt like to get shot, like on TV. So the fact that my character did get shot, even though it was a serious storyline, that was like a low point of pride. And then my final episode, because I'm very, very egotistical, and that was 4 episodes of all spinning all the time. So yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry to be you. That's all right. Well, not that like filming a TV show as a kid is normal, but like, out of our own sense of normal, but it was basically anything that would get us all in the same room together. Because our cast as the seasons grew also grew. So oftentimes, like we pass each other like on the way to and from set, but we wouldn't really get to be on set together. So anything that's in the cafeteria, any of the minis where we could all just like get in the same room and mess around and piss off the AGs because they couldn't like run us in. It's like herding cats. We were just so excited to hang out with each other. So anything that was a group scene, but the Pirates of the Caribbean was definitely like up here for me.
Yeah, I mean, similarly, I definitely think that any of the sort of group cast, like fun sort of party moments were always just like we had so much fun on set. And I remember when we read that like Natasha Bedingfield was actually going to perform at our prom, like that, like I was such a huge fan of hers at that time, and it was just so surreal because none of us got to go to our real proms. So like that was our prom, and I remember that was just like such a big deal for us, and just like all getting to be together. I also got to jump into a pool with a full like gown on. That's kind of a fun moment.
Oh yeah, I remember that. And then yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that was like, you know, I think anytime we had like group scenes, party scenes, like those scenes were a lot of fun to film. And then definitely the mini where I got to play Paige was like a highlight for sure. Because I'd been like the nerdy kid, you know, I never got to like look pretty on set, whatever. And so that was my kind of redemption moment. Like I was like, yeah, now I get to see, you know, her side of this. So yeah.
Can I tell you one funny thing about the Natasha Bedingfield story? So I don't know if you all remember, but we were at a banquet hall, and that's where they filmed the prom. We knew Natasha was going to be there. I had never heard of her. I know you did. Paul definitely did. And we had some media correspondents there that were interviewing the cast to see, you know, how we felt about doing this, what we sad about seeing some of our cast members graduate, how do we feel about Natasha Bedingfield being here. And I talked to Paula before, I'm like, I have no idea, I've never heard of her, I don't know any of her songs, I don't know what I'm supposed to say. And she's like, okay, let me give you a rundown. She's just, you know, she's British, she's on her way up, everyone's excited about her. Here, like Unwritten is a big song of hers. I'm like, okay, they interview us, they're like, all right, so are you a big fan of Natasha's? I'm like, oh, I've loved her for a while. Unwritten, Pocket Full of Sunshine, and you can just see Paula standing next to me going like, and she didn't let me live that down for a while. So, and she knew I was a good liar after that point. So yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah. I wish they made you sing the lyrics, honestly.
Yeah. No, what's the chorus? Yeah.
So overall, I mean, there have been so many great guest stars on Degrassi, from Kiki Palmer and Haley Ray Cyrus. That was so random. I just remember being, Haley Ray, what are you doing here? That was such a treat. Who else? Phoebe Dobson, who I love.
Colin, we were talking last night about Colin Mockery.
Yeah, Colin.
Who plays, I don't think I got to meet him on set, but he plays my character's uncle. You were in a scene with him.
Yes.
Comic legend.
Does everybody here know whose line is it anyway? Do you remember that show? So he was the bald guy. And he's a Canadian,
Canadian hero.
Canadian hero, and it was such a surreal moment to do a scene with him. Yeah. But he was hilarious, and I had to be very serious. I didn't even get to joke around.
Oh, actually, you know who else was on the show that was really, really cool was Kiefer Sutherland's mother, who plays
Did you play Sean's mother or something?
No, she played the dean of the school that Jay was trying to woo, right? To like get Manny into acting school, right? And that was that was Shirley Douglas, the late Shirley Douglas. She passed away a few years ago. She's one of the like top theater actresses in Canada, and film and screen, stage and screen actress. And Kiefer Sutherland's mom.
If you don't
And I
know,
got to introduce her.
it's Jack Bauer from 24.
24, Jack Bauer. And Donald Sutherland's ex. Yeah, you get it. You get it.
Is pretty much one of the most iconic Degrassi episodes. Those of you that may not know, that's the school shooting episode. And it's such a sensitive subject, but how did you guys prepare for that? Were you given a good heads up and
Yeah, so
that whole process?
we did table reads for every episode. It wasn't always every single person in the show, or in that episode, but any of the key players. And reading the script, it was like you could hear a pin drop when we finished going through it. Like it was incredibly difficult. It was an open space to talk about it, to discuss how it made us feel. I still can't watch the episode, but I understand why Degrassi tackled that, and I think it's important. But yeah, that was really, really difficult.
Yeah, I think it was very surreal to see the parking lot of our studio filled with police cruisers and SWAT cars, and then watching extras, but dressed as uniformed police, but also SWAT officers walking through with semi-automatic weapons. And it was also, we said that was like the pivot point where Degrassi really came of age. We had serious storylines before that. Probably the most serious would have been somewhere between Paige getting raped and Craig being beaten by his father, and then like a lot of cheating and other things. But this is school shooting, especially in those days, which was pretty soon after Columbine. It was really our moment where the show started to tackle much deeper issues.
It was also kind of like the moment I think we noticed Degrassi the most in the cultural narrative and where people's heads were at in terms of headlines and things that were really happening, tragedies that were happening in real life. And yeah, it felt like this feedback loop, art imitating life, imitating art, and it just, and I think I do kind of remember everybody chatting about that and maybe doing a little bit of media training around it, because there was a lot of sensitivity. Pretty sure that episode didn't initially play in the US, right?
I think the Manny accidents happened. I think that was the one that they banned in the US.
The which one? Sorry.
Accidents where Manny.
Manny's abortion episode.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That was in the
Yeah.
That was trailer, and I was devastated because I love Manny and Craig.
They might not have played
I didn't get to see it.
But it definitely felt like the first time where there was this like discourse, this public discourse that was happening. What do we do about this? And that the show was addressing it, and it felt very current and kind of like a scary new world that we'd all woken up into and having this conversation about.
Well, you guys, definitely it's one of my favorite episodes, and it's just such a powerful episode, and just how it was written, and just kind of this trickling effect of what happened with just bullying someone, how far it can go, and how all these things can happen. It's just such a great episode. If you guys haven't seen it, guys, I'm sure you all have, but definitely one of the greater Degrassi episodes in my opinion. So, do you guys have a favorite Degrassi season, just overall? Like, this is the best season, man. Everything just was popping in that season. I think season 4, in my opinion, was really great. Season 4.
It's probably my least favorite season.
Oh, part of me wants to say season 1, and hear me out on this, because, looking back when I was younger, not so much now, but it's like a little bit cringy. Loved it, very grateful, but it was really just a bunch of kids.
And yeah, it kind of started on the journey of like creating these characters. Because I think, you know, I've had some of you have asked us, you know, whether we identify with them, and I think we were kind of given a bit of a shell, a bit of a frame of like a character, you know, that they were interested in fitting into this world, but a lot of that heart and soul is what we filled into it. And that came at that time. We were kind of like, who are these characters? What are the stories that need to be told? And yeah, so I think that was kind of the beginning of that journey.
I mean, I did, now that I hear you two talk about it, I guess it was kind of, because it was so monumental, none of us knew what to expect. Some of us had done some work before, I was not one of those people. And we were just kind of transplanted into this wild world of like, you know, the idea of acting, at least for me back in those days, was still like something distant and far-fetched. All I was concentrating on was trying to be likable on camera and remember my lines. That was about it.
Hit your mark.
Yeah, exactly. If it said be angry, but like there didn't have to be any like build up to that. It was just do exactly what the script said and have the powerful people that gave me the job be like, okay, you're doing fine, and they would ask me back the next year. But I judge my favorite seasons by like, you know, meaty storylines that I or some of my castmates got throughout that year. Because of that, it's very hard for me to choose, because every season had its own individual highlights for me. So it was just the whole thing in aggregate was such an incredible experience, especially looking back now.
I think for me, probably it was I think it might have been season 4, for purely selfish reasons. I didn't know if I was coming back to the show, and when Jay started on the show, he was like a fairly two-dimensional candy bandit of a character, and although I enjoyed smashing vending machines and stealing petty cash, tremendously, I really enjoyed being one brought back, thought of, as a character that could do more on the show. That was really fantastic and lovely to hear, but I also got better, more deeper storylines, and we started to get into the psychology of my character. So yeah, I would say season 4.
Good answer. Good answer. Character. You could be any other character other than the characters that you guys play. Which character would you want to be?
I originally auditioned for the character of Dylan, believe it or not.
Oh.
Strange but true.
I could see it.
And so a part of me has always wondered, in that alternate reality version of my life where I was cast as Dylan, where that would have gone. So although, I think that, yeah.
Are you saying with your acting chops have gotten the role of Dylan to be more of a central character than John Breger was able to pull off? Is that what you're saying?
No, just
No,
like,
Yes.
No, I just think that it's an interesting thought experiment to think of what I would do with a character who I'm sure you would agree was largely 180 degrees opposite to the one that I actually played. Just to see what that would look like.
I will always say Greg, because first of all, Jake Epstein was such a talented actor, great guy, but also an inspiration of what was possible if I just pushed myself a little bit harder, or a lot of bit harder, which I just one day chose I wasn't going to do. But I think the thing I'm most jealous of any of Jake's storylines was when he got to destroy, he got to go like rage room on that hotel and like bash up the walls and break the TV, and emotional stuff aside, I just wish I got to destroy that hotel room myself.
Is that all in one take?
Yeah.
I think I heard it was in one take.
I think we're a Canadian show, we could only afford one.
So I initially auditioned for Terry, and then Paige, and then during the screen test, Ashley. But I think I'm gonna go Jay. Yeah.
Ooh.
Because, so here's why. Because like you said,
I'm flattered.
well, It's really get weird. But yeah, so Jay really did have so much character development. As much as like I was talking about Paige earlier, Jay really came kind of out of the woodwork, and what happened with his life and his person was really just incredible. And also like, there's nobody else that could do it but Mike Lavelle. But if I had a choice to kind of like try it out, I'd totally love it.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if anyone knows any of the trivia of who I initially auditioned for. Anyone? No? Manny. Yeah, so when I auditioned, Liberty didn't exist. I came in for Manny, and you can find that very cringy audition video online.
We love
of me auditioning for Manny. And it was in that audition that my own nerdy personality at that time inspired the writers to be like, we actually don't have a character like this. And so, yeah, it was like a pretty amazing thing that they kind of were like, this is kind of a character that we're missing, is having this sort of, like nerdy kid who, really is a high achiever, and has a big heart but is misunderstood. And yeah, so they kind of like wrote it based on that audition and kind of for me. So I feel very grateful, because I think, in talking to a lot of you, it was really important to have that representation on the show. Certainly important for me, to be able to have the representation on the show. And so, yeah, I think I'm Liberty. Like, that was just kind of, I can't really imagine playing anyone else. Yeah.
Hey, Liberty girlfriend. Did you guys realize how iconic the show was? Now, were you familiar with the original Degrassi from the
Oh, yeah.
70s? So you're familiar.
I was starstruck. The first day I walked onto set, and I remember going back to where our dressing rooms were, walking in not knowing what to expect, really nervous, like my first day at school kind of vibes, and Stefan Brogren, who I knew as Snake, just walked right out in front of me, towards me, kind of like, oh, hey, new guy, and I was like, oh my God, you're an icon. They were already iconic, the original cast, so coming in, I was like, so starstruck.
I hadn't really seen the show, except that in Canada we had to watch Degrassi in our health class. They like made us watch they were kind of like don't do drugs, like don't smoke, like kind of episodes, and they were actually like they made separate episodes or separate videos like with the Canadian government to put into our school system. So I don't even know where they probably exist somewhere, but they were like, yeah, in high school or in elementary school, they'd roll out the TV, and you're like, yes, we're watching a movie, and they're like, no, you are learning about your life and how to be a better person. So yeah, that was the only time that I'd actually seen the show. So it was wild to kind of like pick up this legacy and continue it on. And I think at that time, again, we didn't have social media, so we weren't super aware, I think, of like what was going on outside. And really, for me, it was definitely like doing the mall tours. Where I remember coming down an escalator to like thousands of people like screaming and like being so happy to see us, and I was like, this is for us? We've been on set, we're just kind of like doing our thing. We had no idea. Those were the first times we got to connect with fans, and it was, I think, we all have memories from that, and it was a really special moment. So thank you all for coming, honestly, to come hang out with us. It really means the world, and we really appreciate it. It's been so great to spend the weekend with all of you, and you're so sweet. So yeah, thank you so much.
And how, by the way, I hear that there is a difference of Canadian fans, how they love the show, but Americans,
you guys love it. I love so hard, it's amazing. Yeah, like Canadians are just like, oh yeah, cool, and then we come here, like Sarah said, mall tours is kind of the first taste, and then you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this without you. It's really just incredible, and we're almost 25 years from this is the premiere of our version of the show, and we're still talking about it, which is just the most incredible thing, and that would not be without people like you. So thank you.
Yeah, there's something about being in Toronto, which a lot of film projects come to. Toronto. So we're even second class to our own people. They're like, yeah, Degrassi. Everyone's dated someone who was on Degrassi, related to someone who's on Degrassi, went to school with someone who's now on Degrassi. So it's just not that special for most of them. I mean, if you go outside of Toronto into a smaller market, sure. But it was when we started doing the mall tours, we had thousands of people who drove 10 hours to wait to sleep in a line outside the mall and then stand in that line the next day for 6 hours just for like 20 seconds with us, if that. Or I think it was also the first time flying to LA, like this is LA, and you get off just deboard the plane into the terminal, and people in the LAX terminal are freaking out over it. They're like, no, this is where like Britney Spears and all like the huge iconic celebrities are. Like, what's
You're like
happening?
looking over your shoulder for like, who are they looking?
So the Americans have always made us feel like celebrities, and the Canadians make us feel like we're not doing well.
Siblings.
You guys, I mean, Degrassi is the blueprint of teen dramas, you know? I don't know if it's 100% set in stone, but there's rumors that, you know, a lot of people think, oh, 90210 was the first teen drama. It's like Degrassi.
I believe 90210 was based off of Degrassi. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Aaron Spelling
Aaron
couldn't
Spelling, he couldn't work on the show because it was only like Canadian. So I think that's the lore. I don't know, but
Yeah, I think it was going to be called Degrassi USA or something. I heard
wow.
stories where, and like Pat was supposed to be in it,
Yeah.
I think, and yeah.
The original 90210 was because he couldn't do Degrassi, so he did a spin-off based on, I guess, what we were kind of doing, but he changed it.
with like 35-year-olds.
With 35-year-olds.
And then Shanae ended up being on the 90210 reboot,
Yeah.
which was funny. She was on
The
Degrassi
universe.
as well, so yes. Do you guys have a favorite Degrassi just era? Like, you know, Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi,
Next gen, come
Next
on.
Gen, of
Yeah,
course.
next gen all the way.
Yep.
No
We're a little
contest, no
biased.
contest.
No contest. No, but yes, I have to say I agree. I mean, I'm rocking a Degrassi Next Generation shirt, so yes, that is definitely my favorite era of Degrassi. Do you guys, and you guys all keep in touch, right? You guys are all still, you know, hanging out on occasion, just, you know, the Degrassi crew,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
love.
I'll do a backyard barbecue this summer. You guys want to come?
A
Yes,
terrace
please.
barbecue.
Okay.
Terrace barbecue. Yeah, lots of us. Some of us lost touch after we worked together, and I think it's because everyone sees the show and sees us all hanging out. They romanticize the idea that we're all like really good friends. But at the end of the day, it was like many other jobs where you're friends when you all work there, and then when you leave, you realize very quickly who was actually a friend and who was a friend that, you know, was just situational. So, but
Wow, thanks.
totally
I was joking.
smooth. Sarah, you're here, okay? You're here now. You're trying to make amends. No, but like much like high school, we had big groups, and then there were some cliquier cast members that were closer with each other and sort of kept to themselves. But when we do events like this, it's just, it doesn't matter how long it's been. We haven't seen Sarah in a long time, and I mean, I think personally, I know you were saying you were really butting heads with her, but I've really enjoyed the time. No. We whenever we get back together, all it is laughs and reminiscing, and like the Drake music video. Mike, I know you were a part of that.
It's like we don't miss a beat.
We shared such a unique upbringing that no matter how far we travel away from that in our lives afterwards, when we're together, that's all we fall back on. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, it's interesting now as like semi sort of grown-ups too to kind of get together and reminisce and look back and be like, wow, we really did that. That was really something special. Tell stories, tell about how stupid we were in moments and how so much fun it was. Because it's a really just a unique experience. Like most people don't get to do what we've done and what we're still doing, and that's really, really something special.
For sure.
So I know that she wishes that she could be here right now. So.
Oh yeah, I know she would just love this. But I know she's been looking for a Degrassi. Do you guys remember being on a craft dinner box?
I still have
I
one.
have one. I have one.
Only when I went missing
My
that
mom
one
saved
time.
I think that's the
That
only
was
thing
the
she's
milk carton.
missing.
Yeah, we were on a
I'm
trip.
sorry, that's special. I can't part with it, but yeah, no, I still have one.
That is
I have one that still has craft dinner inside.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, could this still be eaten? Probably.
Don't do it.
No,
Don't do
Oh,
it.
I'll tell you.
Apocalypse food.
When I had one packed away in a box, and recently I consolidated after or before a move, and apparently a mouse or a rat got into some of those boxes, and it ate the cheese. It ate the 20-year-old cheese. I'm not even kidding. Yeah,
Super fan
And
that
you
rat.
found it.
they keep that stuff out. Yeah, maybe, or it's a mutant rat now. Splinter.
Nar-
Come back to me. I
No, Mike, please keep doing your Jeopardy-like thinking sounds.
Man, no, this is like, that's a hard question. For
I feel like we need like some audience participation. Like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because I honestly don't know. I feel like Liberty and JT Gibberty. Like, I think
Gibberty?
it's like, who else could that be? I don't know.
Well, it could be Jaberty.
Oh,
Could have been Jaberty.
That would have been
Proposition.
honestly an unusual. Like, I kind of think. I mean, I feel like they were always trying to like shock with, you know, like just kind of putting different people together. So it kind of would have been. I mean, she did obviously like want to be edgier.
That
You
would have been the way to
given
do
me,
it.
you know, a little bit of that like edge.
Not as edgy as a butter knife.
Edge is a better name.
I think.
Oh, damn.
I think Sarah would have jumped at that idea had she not heard your thinking sounds into the mic earlier. I think Spinner and Holly J could have been an interesting couple.
Oh.
For a moment, there was. It seemed when Holly J professed her feelings to the shooter while Spinner was bleeding out on the couch. Spinner overheard it, and it seemed like the only reason that he wouldn't have done it was because at that point he was currently with Jane. So yeah, I think they could have had a little run together. Num, 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 num.
I literally have no idea. I feel like, Ashley really just kind of fished in her pond. And yeah, I maybe if they had introduced her British guy and we kind of got to know him. But aside from that, I can't really see her with anybody else that she had already been paired with.
Do you have one? Does anyone have their ideal?
Yes.
I can't really hear you.
Can
there
we
a
get
microphone?
someone a mic? Yeah, let's get our mic.
Hello.
Hi. Much better.
So like I remember having conversations with all of you like individually about like what interesting combos romantically would your characters have with another character. But like for Melissa, I know a lot of people would have been really interested if Ash and Ellie were romantic.
Ooh.
Now there's one.
Me too.
Yeah,
now that
I
you
mean-
mention it.
So I was talking to somebody, I think yesterday, but yeah, they really did have a relationship that was really just kind of organic, and it was you, okay, that was organic and comfortable. So yeah, if that had gone romantic, I could totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what's their name? Like with the combination name, what would that be?
Oh, I don't know.
I think Ash Shelley, maybe.
Ashley?
Ashley?
That's what I call them.
A Shay?
Yeah, no, totally, I can see that.
Nice. What about Liberty? I think you told me.
I was the one that was like, wouldn't that have been interesting if like Sean and Liberty, because one, it would make Emma really angry, and that would have been funny, but also like, I'm always down with the whole opposites attract thing.
Yeah. Well, she did have the crush, you know, and so there could have been something there, but never got to see it through.
Shibberty.
Shibberty? Lawn.
I can see it. I know I can make it through. Oh yeah. If I hold on,
You're the singer.
if I do, I know I can make it through. Be the best that I can be. You are, I'll say to you, babe. I know I can see it. We had to. I love it.
I've never been serenaded before, so that's amazing.